Unlike the past parades, it is true we have had significant change in our parade performance and the way we display it. Change number one was, first of all, the time frame, the time at which the troops spend on the parade square. We would those days start as early as 8 and leave maybe at 3, 4, 5 until the president leaves. But that one has changed. And this change is for the better. We are not the first one to do this. Even our neighbor in Kenya, their parade come perform and they leave. I think the same with Rwanda and some other countries. But like the CDF was asking, he was not sure as to why we were doing it this way, and he found there is no any harm in the parade performing, and then they leave, because parade is one of the activities amongst the many activities that take place during such celebrations. So there is no need for parade and colors to come and stay when other activities are going on. So that one changed, and it has changed forever. All the next parades are going to be performed like that. No, it takes somebody's vision and way of leadership, I would say. I think the current CDF looked at things differently. And he researched and found there is no harm for parade to finish performing and leave. And I think other than that, there is nothing much that guided it. And number two is he had seen in other countries it is done. So why not us? In fact, it could have been something that came up and there was kind of rigidity on changing to a new way of doing things, but he found it necessary that we should change. There are other changes. I must say that this parade, most of the changes that took place were guided by CDF. And that's why towards the end he came himself and made sure that the changes he wanted to effect have been adopted. There are other changes like the way we march. Those days there was a kind of competition who gets the highest goose march. So if you were short, there is a likelihood that your goose march will not match, and therefore you have to be aligned to your size. If you are my size, you go with the tall size. We still do that kind of arrangement, but this time around we have adopted the short goose march, not the longer one. And I think it looked much smarter, and in terms of balancing of the soldiers so that they are moving at the same pace, it became a little better than how it used to be. Two are some of the songs, some of the band tunes. Some of the band tunes were new, and most of them proposed by the CDF, and then the band team, and they underwent kind of rehearsals and training for this, including us some of the things that we had to train, and also how to march onto the new tunes. Some of these tunes and the type of marching are international. If you see, I was watching the parade of Chile. The way they march is the way we marched. So some people are like, oh, is this Chinese parade? Is this Russian? Is this which parade? But if you look around the globe, different marching troops, they have different types. And most of them, the short marching is very common. That was also another change, so we are not going back into goose march, which is beyond our heads and something like that. We also somehow, some of these things are just innovations, not necessarily that this parade is now for this country or the other country, no. The parade we did was a Ugandan parade. It has innovations that are new. It has innovations that have been picked from other countries. Then all of them formed up what we presented and what we think is going to be the standard now of our parade. unless other things come up. If you realized, we had two commanders commanding guards. Initially it was one. Two is the guards themselves increased in size, which required an extra command. You see, there are certain things that happened simply because it is Independence Parade. Because Independence Parade is different. The only thing that I would say, the way we bring in the flag, the colors, the national colors. This time around, the national colors were brought with extra security and they were exposed. So the exposure of the national colors and the extra security match. This time they had even escort bikes and so on, and they also joined the parade later. But that's how Independence Parade is done, whereby the flags are brought, then there is trooping of colors, and then later on, rising of the flag. That is a function that is always performed on Independence Day to show exactly what happened during the time of our independence in 1962. Outside that, there was something called retreat, which is also not done every ceremony. The retreating, whereby the band comes in, plays a battle song, and then the anthems are done later, and all the flags that are there, other than the executive flag, or other flags are brought down to signify the end of the ceremonies of that day. And that was basically all. As you witnessed yourself and people that things were done a little more different. I was only comparing things like the flag, the raising of the flag. That one happens every Independence Day. Things of escorting the flag to join the parade, they happen. But the way they happen, the drills, were a little bit different. Okay? No, raising of the flag remained the same. The president comes in front of the flag, salutes if he's in uniform, and the flag is raised when the entire parade is on attention. And the order is given by the parade commander to signify the beginning of that activity. But the way the flag is brought to join the parade and how it leaves the parade changed in terms of security, in terms of adjustment on drills. So there were some significant. Formerly, the flags would come almost the way they come on like on any other day. By this time they had extra security and they left before the president left. In the past, the flags would not leave until the president leave. Actually, one time we attempted to do it in Kololo, and there were a lot of, how can the flags leave when the president is still there? There were a lot of discussion. By this time, everybody harmonized and they were like, yes, it is true. The flags can leave even when the president is there. The colors, for that matter. Well, another thing that completely changed is the guns, what we call SAR, those semi-automatic rifles. This time around, you heard me, instead of saying silaha begani weka, he was saying kitara mbele weka. Kitara in Kiswahili is a sword, and silaha, of course, is the gun. So we have removed those. They were quite problematic. But number two is it makes it easier for a soldier to match with a shotgun, an AK-47, which is an improved version of AK-47, than that long gun. So there was no harm in changing from having those long and heavy guns and using AK-47. The whole parade made it was to make it simple for a soldier to perform smartly than having those probably colonial adopted parades, and the soldier has a lot of difficulties. So the easier the formations the newer the formations we chose, the easier it was for a soldier to perform a parade, and a good parade. So I think it is simplicity with smartness. Well, I don't know. You know, I have been seeing some people even putting rulers on on people's legs, how high they are, how low they are. But I think they are going to enjoy this newer one even much better. If you realize it, our marching that time was too much of flat steps, foot down. But this time, because of the short steps, there is also a change. Our marching of Goose March and preparation for Goose March is now using heels. If you watch very well, you will see that the marching, it was not marching normally, it was marching with heels, which makes them much more smarter. It's only because that the country adopted the parades going into regions. But if such a parade is done on a tarmac or on pavers or like how Kololo is, I'm telling you, people would look at it very differently. But even that way, because of dust, sometimes you don't see very well how smart those legs are marching in the same direction at the same time with heels. They looked much smarter, and I'm sure with time, people are going to enjoy them better than the higher Goose March. Parades are worldwide. They have a lot of similarities, but there are some things that for sure, I remember even the CDF was asking himself, but where did we adopt these things from? Even myself, I don't have the answer. I don't know where these things came from. But because we had that colonial background, it could be true that some of these things were picked from, like the president said the other day, from our brothers. I don't know which brothers he was meaning. I don't want to interpret his words. But there could be a likelihood that there is where this type of parade came from. And there is no harm for us to change into something that we think is much better, much easier, much smarter, as long as it remains with the bigger component of how a parade is done internationally. To our superiors, this is going to be a standard UPDF parade. But that does not mean that any new innovation cannot come in. So if there is any new innovation, maybe, because now we have done a new parade, there are some people who will sit and say, I think if this could have been done like this, if this could have been done like this, what is important, it is a parade. And if a few things come up, we shall be told on how to. First of all, I felt it was an honor for me to be appointed to command this parade. And initially, I actually didn't know that I was going to command a newly formed parade until I started, and I was told that several things have changed. You are not going to command the normal parade, you know. But that notwithstanding, it was first of all an excitement to me, because we are several colonels in UPDF who can command a parade. See that the CDF picked on my name amongst the men which were on his table. I felt honored, surely, and I knew there was a reason why he chose Deo Akiiki to command the parade than any other colonel who could have commanded it. And definitely in the army we say when we are asked to jump, we only say how high. We don't ask why are we jumping. So I had to follow the instructions as given to me and immediately move to the rehearsal area and begin rehearsing. It is something that is of significant meaning to us. Commanding a national parade is not something simple, and commanding it successfully, and you are rewarded, and you are given a luncheon, and the president says thank you, and the CDF says thank you. To me, this is something I can say it was God's blessing. And I'm very happy for this, and I promise the leadership of the institution that whenever I'm called to perform any other function, I will always perform it without any hesitation, with all my mind, with all that is required to perform it to that level. Commanding a parade, And actually participating in a parade is not something simple because it is the epitome of discipline. Drills in the military, it is like our culture of how we display our discipline. Because you are doing things at the same time without anybody diverting to other things. You have to pay your attention to the parade. You have also to be trained by people who are below your rank. So if you just become a boss and say you are a colonel and a warrant officer or a lance corporal or a corporal cannot train you to make sure you do the right thing, then you will not manage. And all of this calls for discipline, really self-discipline and self-restraint. Otherwise, a sergeant can tell you, Afande, you are walking like a duck. Can you walk like this? If you if you are not disciplined, you'll say, well, watch a bari. I'm walking like a duck, how? So it needs a lot of discipline. Do this, you must do this. Do this until you are to the level where they want you to look like. Yeah, I know most people know me as somebody who has that soft voice, but when it is command time, when you're commanding 1,500 plus soldiers, and you have to shout to make sure that these orders are heard, then you have to change this voice. It is also a rehearsal. You have to rehearse how to break down your voice into a command voice. Later on, it will come back because now it has even started changing. It was much worse than it is today. And I think after some time, I will recover my normal voice. So it is also part of training.